I want to talk about emotional strength, and I want to really focus this on men. If you're a woman listening to this, that's fine. Actually, you might want to hear this too, but I really want to talk to men now. And I know most of my audience is guys, so that's probably going to be the majority of you. So, emotional strength, let's talk about it. So, one thing I have learned in my lifetime, and a lot of the videos I do here are all about my own experiences, coupled with research. So it's like I'll have an experience, then I'll ask other people, and I'll look into it for myself, and I'll be fascinated to find how many others can relate, or how many others have more insight into what I'm feeling and into what I'm thinking. And that's the beauty of the internet, is that even though the internet has a lot of issues with like people being the way they are on here, there's a lot of positives too, and our interconnectivity as people is actually a positive, because you can find out information pretty well, pretty quick. So one of the things I have noticed with not only myself but others is a lot of men have a lack of emotional self-control and are not centered emotionally. I've dealt with this myself. I dealt with it for the past, most of my life. And a lot of it has to do with issues that stem from my childhood. That goes for a lot of us. You may not know what those issues are. You may have to go to therapy to find out. But a lot of us have forms of trauma that come back to haunt us later in life. In fact, most of us do, which is why I tell everyone that everybody needs therapy. Even if it's a little bit, even if it's just for 6 months, everyone needs a form of therapy at some point, because the problem is that life ain't all peaches and cream. And people throw shit at you. You're going to go through some trauma. You're going to go through some BS in life. And you don't know how it affects you. And a lot of times it happens right from when you get out of the womb. Read up on attachment trauma. That'll tell you all about that. So, I've noticed myself becoming more self-aware as I get older. And I've noticed people around me, especially in the anime fandom, lacking emotional self-control. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, as a man, it is our purpose, I believe, to achieve the best possible results for ourselves in life. To get the best out of life. The best memories, the best moments. For women too. But it's our purpose, I think, to really focus on how to achieve these things and become problem solvers. How do I become a financially independent person? How do I get my own house, my own car? How do I get my own family? These are things that we seek out as men. How do I get the best possible job? You see what I'm saying? So that we can live comfortably. So that we can wake up every day and be happy. You know, how do I find the best girlfriend, the best partner, the best boyfriend, the best whatever, right? And that's all part of masculine energy, which I talked about before. But a lot of times what gets in the way is a lack of emotional self-control. And you're going to be challenged in life many times by people either on the internet or in real life who are going to push your buttons. And a lot of times it's your loved ones. It's your family. It's your friends. It's your girlfriend. It's your boyfriend. It's whatever. Because people who care about you and who have known you for a long time, they know what buttons to push. And they sometimes will use that to their advantage. And so, when that happens, you need to show emotional restraint and emotional self-control. Strangers will sometimes pick fights with you. The real cowards do it on the internet because they know that there's no consequences. You can't just smack them upside the head. But once in a while in real life, people will try you. It doesn't happen too often, usually when you're in school. Once you get out of school, it doesn't happen that often unless you put yourself in an environment to where it could happen. Like if you're around alcoholics all the time or people who are in, what can I put it? How can I explain this? People who are toxic. If you're in that toxic environment, you're going to look for trouble. Or trouble will come to you, even if you don't look for it. So, most of the time, though, it doesn't happen very often. People are going to push your buttons, though. At work, people will play games. In the corporate world, it's very, very sharkish. It's a shark tank. And so, you have to really learn how to control yourself emotionally for a couple reasons. Number one, let me backtrack for a minute. Number one is you got to take care of yourself. If someone's pushing your buttons to goad you into getting into a fight with them or to doing something stupid, they could be setting you up for a trap that's going to end up hurting you, your business, your reputation, whatever. So you got to always be mindful of this and say, okay, what is this person trying to accomplish by pushing my buttons? I'm telling you, I'm a different guy than I was a year ago, bro. I don't know if I'm alpha, but I'm real close to it, let me tell you. It's a different, you have no idea the training I've been through, brother. I'm smiling right now. I feel good about it. Hopefully y'all can relate to me on that, you know. And maybe you're going to get there too if you're not already there. So, you got to be careful with that, you know. And then number two, when it comes to relationships, especially with girls, a lot of times women will test you. Now, a lot of dating coaches will say, pass women's tests, women will test you. And the way that people often misinterpret this is that women are being malicious and making sure you pass their test before they date you. And that's not what's going on. This is nothing at all having to do with malice. Even though there may be some, in some cases they do it on purpose. Most of the time when you hear about a woman testing a man, it's not done on purpose. It's on a subconscious level. They don't even realize they're doing it. They really don't. Which is why if you're going to get advice from a girl about another girl, make sure that she is self-aware and she's experienced enough to know, okay, she's testing you. Because younger girls tend to do this a lot. And I've seen so many dudes, and some of y'all can relate, in their 20s fuck this up. They will purposely test a man, and I see it. And I tell my guys, I'm like, dude, don't fall for this. And it's not like she's doing it, again, she's not doing it on purpose, or it's like she's just trying to hurt the guy. But they do it because they instinctually need to see how a man will react to avoid there being a conflict later on. A woman's not going to entirely submit to you. And when I say submit, it's not like a... You know, I'm not trying to say it in like a dominant kind of way. That's not what I mean by that. Not a submissive kind of way, but submit to you as far as like accept you, right? And become yours fully without first making sure you're going to be the right guy. It's all about parental investment theory, which parental investment theory, read up on that. I've talked about it before. If you learn parental investment theory, it will improve your dating life by 50%, if not more. When I figured out that puzzle, dude, I was so much more successful. Even when I was a fat ass, I was way more successful when I figured out how that worked. It's really, really very, very real. So she has to test you to make sure you're going to be the right guy, subconsciously. And a lot of times the test is going to be a test of your temper or a test of how you react to things. Bad news, good news, her venting to you. And you have to always be mindful of having emotional self-control and being able to not get too emotional. Because if a woman's coming to you emotional, the worst thing you want to do is be emotional right back. What you want to do is be emotionally understanding and be a good listener, but you don't want to cry and dump your emotions onto her when she's trying to vent to you first. If y'all are friends, it's different. But if she's like your girlfriend, listen to her first before you go into your shit. Trust me, it'll help you out. You got friends to talk to as well, but if you want to vent to your girlfriend, feel free to do it. Just remember that, you know, if she's venting to you, she might be hurt and she might need you to be that rock. You know, I talked about masculine and feminine energy, and one of the things I like to do is compare the rock to the wind. You can be a rock. You are sturdy, like your penis when it gets hard. It's a phallic, sturdy, you know, solid object. Whereas a woman is a vagina. She opens up to you. See, it's all metaphoric. It all makes sense. Emotions and sex, like reproductive sex, it all goes hand in hand, yo. This is not an accident. Whether it be God or Mother Nature, or whatever you believe in, this was done on purpose. Trust me. You gotta learn these things, man. I'm giving y'all cheat codes in life here. So they receive love like they receive your penis, hard, hopefully. And their vaginas are wet, you know, receiving, you know, soft, right? That's masculine and feminine energy. the reason why it's important to have emotional self-control is that if you exhibit traits where you can't control yourself emotionally, she will get turned off. She will get turned off. Maybe not forever, but she'll start to behave in certain ways to where you can tell she's not attracted to you, at least for that moment. It might all come back, or it might not. It might get worse. If there's too much negativity and too many moments of you being unattractive by being emotionally out of control, it builds up over time. And that's what leads to breakups. You know what I'm saying? It does. And the problem with most guys is it just happens and they don't even realize it until it's too late. They don't. It sucks, but they don't. So I feel like it's important to control your emotions. It's important to, one of my favorite, I think it was a Nelly song. And I'm not even a fan of Nelly, but he made a song called Never Let 'Em See You Sweat. And that's true. When you're in business meetings, here's another good example of having emotional self-control. Knowing your value. If you're at a business meeting, you're dealing with sharks. You're dealing with guys that have poker faces. You have to have on your poker face. You have to be emotionless. Same thing when you're actually playing poker or playing any kind of competitive video game or competitive card game or even any competition, even basketball, whatever. Try to be as emotionless as possible when you're out there, professional, because in business or in, competition, that's the right word, competition, you don't want to show your hands. You don't want to show what you have going on in your head. You don't want them to see any kind of emotion coming from you. You want them to wonder. You want to kind of instill that uncertainty, that fear. You want to, you know what I mean? There's that kind of serious face, like, I'm here to win, that Michael Jordan face. There's a reason why he's a winner, bro. Watch the documentary on Netflix, bro. You'll learn. I learned a lot from that man about what to do and what not to do. But, he really was a master at being manipulative, which I'm not saying you should be, but it does help in some circumstances, like business, for example. If you're at a business meeting, like I was mentioning earlier, I have to finish my point there. And let's say someone wants to make a deal with you. I've had this happen a lot with brand deals. They'll come to me and they'll offer this amount of money, and I'll tell them that's not enough for you to promote on my channel. And they'll say, okay, well, we can't really make it any higher. And then I'll say, well, if you can't, then this is not the right channel for you. I mean, I won't say it like that, but I'll say, I can work around this. You try to make a good negotiation play, but you never go below your limits. Like, I'm not going to charge X amount of dollars if I know my content is worth more. I'm not going to do it. And being that alpha means being able to walk away and mean it. If you have a business deal with somebody and you don't like the terms of that deal, you walk away and you mean it. Then you see if they crack. And if they don't crack, at least you know that you didn't crack, and the next deal that comes along, you'll take advantage of. And if they do crack, then you can work with them. If they're not willing to compromise or respect what you want, why should you give them your time of day? And that applies in so many different examples. I'm trying to give y'all one that makes sense to you. At your job, you ask for a raise, they don't give it to you. You could be that asshole who's like, fuck you, I'd worked so hard for this company. No, that's going to cost you your job. But if you say, okay, I got two options. I'm either going to work hard and earn that raise, or I'm going to go find another job. And then you go and you look for another job while you still work there, and you give them your 2-week notice, a job that pays more, peace out. I've done that so many times. Because like I told y'all a few videos ago, you could only count on yourself. You can't count on no company to take care of you. No company and no politician is ever going to take care of you. It's just not going to happen. They don't give a shit. They don't care. So you have to be the one who cares about yourself. So remember that. And emotional self-control will go a long way in life. You may have to train to get here. You may have to go to therapy. You may have to learn CBT. You may have to do different things to get there. But if you right now reflect and say, damn, did I lose a friendship because I lost control of myself emotionally? Did I lose a business deal? Did I lose a girlfriend because of my mistakes? You have to be able to accept that as a fucking alpha and learn from your mistake and say, okay, you know what? I fucked this up. I'm not going to fuck it up again. I'm going to learn to be to have emotional self-control. You have no idea how much your life will improve.